Hi friends, this is Andy Vegan. Today is juice fasting, once a week. Gentle juice fasting is always feeling great, delightful. That's important, otherwise energy doesn't flow and it's blocked. When we feel pain or stress or tightness, stop it. Eat something, drink something more nutrient dense, like a smoothie or so. Otherwise only juices are wonderful, once a week. It's really has so many aspects. For today, it's enough just telling you once a week juices. That's for the long run, for years and years. It's an amazing discipline. It's easy for everyone. You don't need a doctor for that. It's very easy. And you get so deep into yourself, But by time, slowly, you tune in. That's super. And today I show you, before I tell you more, I show you what I made. I'm going to make a nut milk. That's interesting because juice fasting is not only with juices from fruit and veggies. You also can make a nut milk. I have here the Brazil nuts. Here a cup, maybe a little bit more. The quantity is really up to you. You want to have the nut milk a little bit more milkier, take more nuts. And more watery, make less nuts. No problem. This is a cup round. You see these beautiful Brazil nuts. They are so super. Of course, high in fat. It's a very fatty nut, but it doesn't really matter. It's good, actually, very healthy fat. Actually, by the way, you can eat as many nuts almost as you want. Additionally to your regular food, and you will not gain weight. Most of the people would not gain weight. Rather, they would lose weight. That sounds like a miracle, but it's true. Science found out about it, not hoax science, not fake science, really solid science with rate populations all over the globe. They made research for years and years. And recently they found that you can eat as many nuts, almost a handful of nuts every day without gaining weight, even rather losing weight. That is because of a consistent an ingredient in the nuts that is anti-inflammatory. There is a little complex chemical process going on in the body that keeps the fat from clogging the blood and keeping the sugar up, and these all things. All the bad effects of the fat are not in nuts. So it's amazing. I will study more about it. Now that I know it, I can easily snack on nuts. Not on the fasting days, of course, on all the other days. And super healthy nuts. Yeah, great. That's something to think about the low-fat theory, low-fat diet. Low-fat diet is usually very recommended, high carbs, low-fat, and low protein, that is very important usually, but this seems to be somewhat an exception. I will find out more about that, If you know something about it, happen to know, let me know. I would be very curious to know about it. Okay, and together with the nuts today, because I made already Brazil nut milk, I refinement. I put some dates in there. These are 7 dates, I guess. Small dates, as you can see, they are soft. I pitted them, of course, and I put them into my nuts too. So a cup of nuts, 7 dates, small dates, and 1 or 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. This is the cinnamon from Sri Lanka, from Ceylon. This is a different there are different kinds, basically 2 different kinds of cinnamon. The one kind of cinnamon, not from Sri Lanka, has the cassia or something. It's called cassia cinnamon. You should avoid. It's less expensive, a little bit. So if you use a huge amount, like a bakery, official bakery in the city or so, they would rather use the cassia because it's less expensive. But small amounts in your own kitchen, I would highly recommend always to use the silent cinnamon, because with the cassia there is something in the cinnamon that makes your blood race. So your heart races, the blood pressure goes up, and that's not so good on long term, It's a little bit dangerous. They found out about this in the 50s in Germany due to the cinnamon rolls that people liked, and then somebody found out that it is dangerous for the health, the cinnamon. And then they found out about the cassia cinnamon and the silent cinnamon. So always take the silent cinnamon if you can afford it, and it is super healthy. It's one of the highest antioxidants in the world. Now, I'm very sorry. Must have been the cinnamon powder in my nose. Or I talk too much, I don't know. I have a liter of water, filtered water. I have a good water filter. Yeah, I don't need to buy bottles anymore. I put a liter in there. A liter of water, 1 cup of nuts, and 7 small dates. 3 ingredients. That's my ratio today for this recipe. And feel free to take more or less dates, more or less nuts. It doesn't really matter. It's just up to your taste. Yeah, I like it sweet and intense today. So a little bit more nuts, a little more cinnamon, and a little bit more dates. That's today my flavor choice. So the blender dance for sure. Dancing is so much fun, and it brings me back to myself. That means, in more easy terms to understand, what does it mean, brings back to myself? That means to me today, if I think about something, yeah, or I'm having a problem, yeah, I don't know, I'm looking for a memory, yeah, a memory, and begin to dance, all of a sudden all is there, it comes, it's just there, it comes back. That's what I mean, being back to myself. Yeah, everything is easier when dancing. And so my father made a joke. He was a big joking man, big belly and jokes. He was a very hearty man. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about my father. No. But he had always a joke. He said, if somebody doesn't work, if I, for example, do something with a screw or a screwdriver or something didn't work, he was a boss, in a company, and he always had to advise people and to tell them what they do. And he had the silliest jokes ever. I like one joke especially, and I forgot. He said, when something didn't work, and people were wondering, well, how can I do it? He said, just whistle along, just sing along, and it works. He didn't mean it. I never know if he was serious or not, because he was always giggling a little bit, He's a funny kind. But now I know he was totally true, and I guess he knew it. He never sang, by the way. He had a big laugh. So now I put the nut milk into my nut milk bag. And as you can see, I have a large nut milk bag here, yeah, over the brim of the bowl here, because then I can just pour it in. Otherwise I have to hold it open somehow. Yeah, somebody help me better. But this is so easy with the big bags here. Yeah. Small nut milk bags are more expensive. These are very inexpensive. Material is not the best material. It's plastic. I know it's not so good, but it's so inexpensive. It's $1 each. Yeah, in a pharmacy here or a drugstore here in Germany. You find these in a shop where you can make things for people to do it yourself. Yeah, then you find these kind of things too. It's a laundry bag there, I guess. So here. But now I show you how I do this with this nice and large nut milk bag. So to say, nut milk bag. Yeah. I drill it a little bit here. I squeeze it a little bit. Turn it around. And then the nut milk bag will be squeezed together. And the nut milk will come out. And I noticed when I use other ingredients, but nuts, additionally to nuts, here in the nut milk bag, then the pores of the nut milk bag get stuck a little bit. So it just takes, it's not a biggie, but it takes a little bit longer to press the milk out of the nut milk bag to keep the flour of the nuts inside. Yeah, it will be pretty dry once the milk is pressed out, squeezed out. But that will all take a little bit longer, as you can see, because there's the cinnamon and the dates. They seem to stuck in the pores a little bit. But really, it doesn't matter. I will take a little bit longer, and you have to squeeze carefully because you don't want to break or tear your nut milk bag apart. That would be a pity. It goes a long way. Huh? You don't need to replace it so soon if you handle it with care. So I'm just doing it here, more and more. And once it's ready, I will taste it. And before it's ready, I will have some more time to tell you something a little bit more about the nuts and the fasting. The fasting especially is interesting also because we call it Moonfasting also. Yeah, gentle juice fasting is always the best method, I would say, because it's for everybody. It's so easy, and you can keep on with it for your whole life. It will never be harmful. You can moderate it. You can eat a little bit in between. You shouldn't eat, but maybe a soup or a smoothie if it is too hard on you. You can also have a coffee, doesn't really matter. Yeah? And most important is that you cut down your calories, not the nutrients, not the minerals, not the vitamins, but the calories. Calories should be cut down. That's the main purpose of the fasting. But with a rich, nutrient-balanced fasting, you will always feel great and even lighter than on your regular days. I feel super meanwhile. The first time maybe a little bit more with cleansing effects. The first time depends on your body or so, on your condition. After a while, you get used to it. If you eat healthy and do practice, for example, everyday yoga or something, or walking outside along, and it's very nice in nature, it gets easier. But what happens in the fasting on regular terms is so interesting. I thought about that today only. Almost ready here. Let's see. Go on a second. A little bit more. Yeah, because there are two different ways, ways of fasting. And what we do is the moon fasting. And especially the moon has a very seemingly irregular rhythm. So until the moon appears again for the second time in the same place on the sky, in the same moon phase, exactly the same, it takes 16 years. And the first written document we have in mankind at all, the first scriptural document of man at all on planet Earth so far is 60,000 years old. And that document has been written in stone on a little hill. Somebody must have been there with quite awareness, quite intelligence. He sat there on the stone and saw the full moon. And every time the full moon was there, he looked over the stone and made a little scratch into the stone, a marker. So when the next full moon was there, 1 month later, he made the next sign. And it took him 16 years to return to the same place. So he knows now, 16 years, he or she, we don't know, has 16 years it takes until the moon comes to the next place. So this is brilliant and awesome. It's the beginning of our writing. Yeah? It's amazing, and with numbers. Yeah? Numbers and writing, pretty close, and that's another story. But the 16-year circle, that means it is a pretty long time until it returns itself. Exactly the same. So the 16 years gives you a lot of variety in your own life. Have you thought about what happens in 16 years? Have we assumed, we always at the end of the year, we always resume and say, okay, what happened in the last year? Yeah. But this guy has to think about 16 years. So that means the moon gives you so much more variety until the regular cycle is over. And this also happens with the moon fasting. It's so important because I go so deep into myself, more deeper as anything other in fasting. Sun, for example, comes back every single day. It's a regular cycle. Every day the sun comes back the same way. The moon does 16 years. Understand? Interesting, right? Now, I will taste this juice, this milk, to know if it's really good. Oh, awesome. And gives me a chance to say one more thing about the Brazil nuts especially. First I will pour it into my carafe, and then you will see what it looks like. It runs into a little glass. I'll show you. In a little glass. And now one more thing to tell you about the Brazil nut. Here, beautiful milk, nice color, creamy, and pretty wonderful. I'm looking forward to that. Usually I drink a Nutmilk at night. Yeah, like a dessert after a fasting day with juices. Yeah, a little bit more like a dessert. There's more fat in there than in juices usually. Depends on the fruit, but yeah, but it really comforting. Yeah, comfort food, so to say, during the fasting. Yeah, the Brazil nut. Last time I made a Brazil nut milk with the soaked Brazil nuts. soaked. Yeah, that's, people say that's good because you get out some stuff you don't want to have in the system. Usually that's right, because it's called phytins. The phytins, they keep the nutrients from going into the system. You cannot absorb the nutrients so well if you have the phytins in the seeds or the nuts. So people used to soak it. That's okay. But now we know that the phytins are actually preventing cancer, and very strongly so. Also, big studies have been made to find out phytin is very helpful. So what do we do? Soaking or not? So let's make it short. It's up to you. Yeah, what you prefer. If you want to have more nutrients right now, you soak it. If you say, I have plenty of nutrients anyway, as I, for example, I have such a good healthy food, I cannot complain about nutrients yeah, and deficiency. I'm so well fed. Yeah, we all are in Western culture. So I say basically, I go with the phytins. And the Brazil nuts here, I soaked them already the other day, and I found it tasted not so good. So this time I said no, with Brazil nuts especially, different way from hazelnuts. Hazelnuts I would rather soak because they're tasting more nicely when they're soaked. The edges away a little bit more, if you know what I mean. But the Brazil nuts I would not soak again because they're so much better unsoaked in the flavor. But almost always it's up to you. Vegan is not up to you. That is a mandatory. Of course, the animal friends, we have no right to harm them. You question me on that, yeah, we can have a long talk about that. I'm pretty sure you will find not a single good reason for animal products in the food. But everything else almost is mandatory. Yeah, soaking nuts. How you feel about it? Tell me. I would be happy to hear it. And otherwise, see you soon. Subscribe if you like MD Vegan on YouTube. Have another recipe every single day, once a week, juice fasting day. Very nice. And you can also see me on Instagram, on Facebook, and Pinterest. You find my channel there. And you can also, if you subscribe on YouTube, you have a little bell close to the subscription button, and you push that bell after subscription, you will be even notified with an email every day when a new recipe comes out. See you soon.